Welcome back. Today I'm going to go over chapter 9 of Priscilla Presley's book, Softly as I Leave You. So, Priscilla starts the chapter with saying that the early 90s was a golden time for her family. She had her son Navarone, who she adored, and she had a son in law who she loved and respected, Danny Keogh. On May 29th, 1989, when Navarone was only 2 years old, Lisa had her first baby, Priscilla's first grandchild, Danielle Riley Keogh. Priscilla's second grandchild came 3 years later on October 21st, 1992, and he was Benjamin Storm Keogh. Priscilla says that she longed for Elvis to be here or there so that he could see his grandchildren. She says as much as she loved her grandchildren, she did struggle with the term grandma, considering that she herself had a toddler. And when Priscilla thinks of grandma, she thinks of old ladies like Minnie Mae Presley who sit in their rooms all day and complain about their husbands. She says that vanity did get the best of her, quote, briefly, but that her grandchildren do call her Nona instead of grandma. Lisa becoming a mother brought Priscilla and Lisa closer together. Lisa, she said, would call her for parenting advice. And she says Lisa was a really, really good mom who was fiercely devoted to her children. She says Lisa's parenting style was very different from hers and that Lisa was as much a friend as she was a parent. She adds that Lisa was very close to her children and would get jealous if anybody else tried to become close with them, and that included Priscilla. And so because of that, her grandchildren didn't visit her very often, but Priscilla says that she understood. Professionally, Priscilla says it was a busy time for her. A German company had approached her about doing a line of perfumes, which she did. She found it fascinating, the whole process of it. She was able to pick out her own scents for their fragrances. She said that for a few years, her line of fragrances enjoyed commercial success. The only drawback, though, was this was an era where it was strongly encouraged to buy American, and she had collaborated with a German company over this line. She says on top of that, with her last name Presley being so strongly associated with an American icon, it complicated things, so they ended up parting ways. She kept herself busy being as the trustee for Graceland. She says she got a salary, but she never ever received any portion of Elvis's assets. Priscilla said that she had two responsibilities as the trustee of Graceland. The first one was to distribute funds to support Lisa's welfare and education until Lisa turned 25. And the second responsibility was to continue the accumulation of funds for the trust. She says that the main sources of income for that came from her decision to open up Graceland to the public and from Elvis Presley Enterprises. She says she's very proud that she played a vital role in saving Graceland and in saving Lisa's inheritance. She said that she did not oversee the funds herself personally. That was handled by the trust's accountant. She says that in Elvis's will, Lisa Marie was to receive all assets of the trust outright and free of further oversight at 25 if Vernon and Minnie Mae Presley were already deceased. Priscilla would then, when Lisa Marie was 25, she would remain a trustee but would no longer oversee or be responsible for distributing funds to Lisa. On January 8th, 1993, what would have been Elvis's 58th birthday, the United States Postal Service had unveiled the Elvis Presley postage stamp. The Postal Service had selected Elvis to be the first musician to appear in their Legends of American Music collection. And for the first time ever, the Postal Service allowed the public to vote on which image of Elvis would appear on the stamp. They had set up 4 pop-up offices at Graceland to sell the stamps to the public. Priscilla said that fans from all over the world showed up, waited in line for hours so that they could buy these stamps. They sold about 300,000 stamps overall. She also said that Jerry Lee Lewis was at the event. Jerry Lee Lewis's career began around the same time as Elvis Presley's. Jerry Lee Lewis was also from Memphis, and he understood the significance of someone like Elvis appearing on a United States postal stamp, considering that when they both came into rock and roll, no one took rock and roll seriously. She describes Jerry Lee Lewis as a wildcat, quote, wildcat, but that she liked him. She said Elvis would probably never ever have believed that he would be on a postage stamp because his humility ran deep and he didn't realize how much he meant to his country. Priscilla says that the fans that at that event knew that Priscilla was going to make an appearance. She was there to receive the first Elvis stamp albums that were designated to her, to Lisa Marie, and to Lisa Marie's kids. But they didn't know that Lisa Marie, who was not comfortable appearing in public, they didn't know that she was actually going to be there too. Priscilla said that Lisa felt that she owed it to her dad to thank everyone on his behalf, and she walked out on stage to an outpouring of applause. A few weeks later, Lisa Marie turned 25 and took over her dad's estate. Priscilla said that it was important to her that she was not involved in the financial transfer, instead leaving that to the estate or their attorney. She said being a mother and a business manager are two completely different roles, and that the two roles should never be confused. She said she doesn't know how much Lisa inherited, but she knew it was a lot, making Lisa Marie a very rich person. She said she was concerned about this change in financial status and how it would affect Lisa Marie. She said Lisa Marie was impulsive and made spur-of-the-moment decisions. Priscilla worried that this sudden wealth would make her a target, but she kept her concerns to herself. Priscilla says that looking back, with Lisa coming into all this wealth suddenly, it, quote, seems like the beginning of a whole new life, end quote. And she says that it is a life that Priscilla would not have chosen for her daughter. Okay, so here is where Priscilla starts to correlate Lisa's inheritance with the demise of her marriage to Danny Keough. Priscilla says that there was always what she calls an economic disparity between Lisa Marie and Danny. Lisa was the heir of what some people would call American royalty. Danny was a talented musician who had a regular gig at Mad Hatter's studios, and he played gigs with up and coming bands for income as well. And he painted houses on the side too. When Lisa and Danny first met and started dating, it was irrelevant that she was an heir, but that it was irrelevant because she didn't have like liquid assets readily available. So they were basically on the same level. She says Lisa would attend Danny's shows and would see all the women throwing themselves at him, wanting his attention. She says that Lisa grew up watching women throw themselves at her dad, and that was one of the reasons her parents' marriage didn't work out. That is because of these other women. And these women who were throwing themselves at Danny had caused Lisa to be eaten up with jealousy. So just as Danny's career was on the brink of success, Lisa asked him to quit the band, to quit music. She didn't want him traveling anymore. Priscilla says that Danny loved Lisa so much that he reluctantly agreed to quit. He wanted to keep Lisa Marie happy. And Priscilla says this was the beginning of the end for Lisa and Danny. Danny had lost his means of income and his calling and his dreams. She says that she doesn't think that Danny really ever got over it, but that he stayed committed to Lisa Marie and the kids. She goes on to say that Lisa wanted to be with a man who was on the same level as she was, strong and wealthy. When she came into her inheritance, that essentially changed Danny's status. They were no longer on the same level. So in the spring of 1994, Lisa divorced Danny and 3 weeks later married Michael Jackson. It was a secret ceremony in the Dominican Republic. She says that Lisa told her it was going to happen, but that it was clear that Priscilla was not invited. Priscilla says that she was appalled by the marriage. She says she knew in her bones that Michael didn't love Lisa Marie, that he wasn't marrying Lisa Marie, but he was marrying the Presley dynasty. She felt that Michael Jackson was using Lisa Marie to show the public that he was a desirable heterosexual man. This was amongst the time of the child molestation charges. So Priscilla said that she said to Lisa, "You know Michael's a huge fan of your dad's. Did you ever think about the fact that now he's married to Elvis Presley's daughter?" And Lisa told her that she was just worrying too much. And Priscilla said, "Yeah, I do. I do worry. I don't want you being used." Priscilla says that she feels that that's how Michael Jackson hooked Lisa Marie, was that Lisa felt bad for him and she believed in his innocence. She said that she believes Michael to be a manipulative man who was able to gradually draw in Lisa Marie with frequent phone calls. That childlike persona that Michael showed to the public was just a mask, which she said Lisa learned early on, and that it bothered Lisa, but that Lisa didn't, quote, see it for the warning sign it was. Priscilla said that her relationship with Michael Jackson was bizarre. She details a story of when Lisa and Michael first started dating. Lisa had invited Priscilla over to her house for a party, and she knew that Michael Jackson was going to be there. And she thought this would be a good time to get to know him better. She said that he stayed away from her as much as possible, and that he actually stayed away from all the adults. He preferred to play ball outside with the kids. The news of Michael and Lisa getting married was leaked in the second week of August. Priscilla said that there were helicopters circling over her house, so she called Lisa asking if there was something she needed to tell her. The marriage went officially public at the MTV Music Awards, where Michael Jackson kissed Lisa Marie on stage. Priscilla said that she was really angry at him for ambushing Lisa like that, and when she asked Lisa about it later, Lisa cringed. Priscilla said that Michael continued to avoid her. She recalls only one time where they actually had contact with each other. She said that she and Lisa were in Memphis for a tribute concert for Elvis, and Michael had unexpectedly arrived at Lisa's hotel because he wanted to sit next to her at the concert. And this irked Priscilla because she knew with Michael's fame, him being there and sitting next to Lisa would detract from honoring Elvis. So Priscilla arrived at Lisa's hotel and she didn't see Michael. She asked Lisa where he was, and Lisa said, "Oh, he's in the other room." A few minutes later, Michael emerges from the room, walks down the hall, and grabs a hat that was on the table, smiles kind of at Priscilla, and then turns around and walks back into the room. Didn't say anything to her. And he didn't say anything to her on the ride to the concert itself. And at the concert, Lisa and Priscilla were a part of the show, so they didn't have an opportunity to talk to each other. She says that was the extent of her interaction with Michael Jackson during their marriage, Lisa and Michael's marriage. Not long after Lisa and Priscilla were walking down the beach in Hawaii, and Lisa had told her that Michael wanted to have a baby. Priscilla told her it's too soon, and she reminded Lisa Marie that Lisa had been with a lot of guys and always broke up with them, and that she needed to first focus on the marriage before bringing a baby into it. She says she pondered why Michael was in such a hurry to have a baby with Lisa, and she didn't trust his motives, and, and thought perhaps he didn't want a baby with Lisa Marie. He just wanted to have Elvis's grandchild. Lisa then told her that Michael told Lisa if Lisa didn't want to have a baby with him, that he would have a baby with Debbie Rowe. Priscilla says she found this to be a big red flag, and that she was relieved when she learned that Lisa did not want to have a baby yet. And Priscilla asked Lisa if their marriage was a physically intimate one, and Lisa said yeah, but that she hardly ever saw Michael. She said that she'd see Michael for a couple of days and then he would leave. He would disappear for days at a time, and she didn't know where he was. He would never give an explanation. Priscilla says that Lisa was very unhappy. Lisa knew that sometimes during his disappearances, he was actually at his ranch spending time with kids, and it bothered her that he would rather spend time with kids at the ranch than actually be with her. Priscilla says that the child abuse allegations started to get to Lisa, and that Lisa wasn't comfortable criticizing Michael in public because he had such a huge fan base that they would make her the villain. One day, Priscilla says she got a call from Lisa saying that she wanted to divorce Michael. She felt that the marriage was a setup, and he clearly didn't want to be with her. He wanted to be with Elvis's daughter. Priscilla said that when Lisa filed for divorce on January 18th, 1996, she could, quote, practically hear Elvis sigh with relief, end quote. That's it for chapter 9. Stay tuned for chapter 10, where Priscilla discusses her bond with her son Navarone and Lisa Marie's resentment towards it. See you then.